Hi everyone, it's Helen here from Helen Chapman Handmade Crafts, and today we're going back to the annual catalogue. It's quite easy to forget about the annual catalogue once the seasonal catalogues are available and released, and there's lots of lovely bright shiny new things. But this is a stamp set that is one of my favourites from the annual catalogue, and it's called Daisy Lane. You can see there are two very similar daisy images. You've then got the sideways kind of daisy, some foliage and some really cute sentiments, and this actually coordinates with two different punches. Firstly, there is the daisy punch, which cuts out the larger image. Then there is the medium daisy punch, which cuts out the smaller image. Today we're just going to be working with the larger one, and I've got everything we need over here. We can make a start. Firstly, the card base is Whisper White thick cardstock, and that's 21 by 14.9 centimeters, and it's scored at 10.5 along the long side. We can fold and burnish that. That's followed by a piece of the Woven Threads DSP, which I think is really cute, and it contains two of the colours which are from the latest In Colour collection, Seaside Spray and Terracotta Tile. Now, rather than just popping a rectangular piece of the DSP on, because I wanted to wind this linen thread round, what I've done is I've cut notches top and bottom just to allow that thread to sit in there nicely, and I think it just adds an extra little bit of interest. And the way I did that was using my grid paper and a pencil. Decide whereabouts you want the thread to sit, and I'll just show you on this one that the thread is at approximately 3 centimeters in from the edge. So what I did was I went 2.5 centimeters in. I marked that, and I marked 3.5 centimeters. So again, 2.5 centimeters and 3.5 centimeters. And then with the teeny tiny 1/2 inch circle punch, I popped the DSP into there till I could see my two little lines, and then stamped the notch. Again, line it up with my two little marks and stamp the notch, and then you'll find that they're equally distant from your edge. And I've got the linen thread here, and I'll just cut a length of that, and I'm just going to use tear and tape to attach it. The only fiddly bit about this is that you just want to get the thread fairly taut without bending the DSP. So I'm going to try and just get it taut, folding over. Make sure you're pulling that at the same time just to keep it fairly tight. And then I'll just get rid of that tail end just so it sits nicely onto the card base. We can adhere that now just using multi-purpose liquid glue. Sorry about that. I'm back now. You may have guessed there was someone at the door. Okay, where were we? We've adhered our card front with our length of twine. We're ready to stamp our daisies. As I mentioned, we're using the large daisy. Few taps, few seconds of pressure. There's our first one. We're going to fit another one. Let's not chance it just in case. We'll do the second one onto here. Standard Whisper white cardstock, and we're stamping in the Seaside spray. Just going to clean that stamp quickly because we're going to stamp it again in the terracotta tile, and we can use this scrap for that bit. So same image, and I don't need the whole image this time, so we can stamp a little bit closer to the edge. And then we can start cutting these out. For the Seaside spray ones, we're going to use the coordinating punch. You might find that you just need to snip off any corners to allow the punch in and line up with your image. And then with this one, I'm going to take that same punch that we used for the notches in the DSP, and again trimming off any excess just to allow the punch in far enough. And that's going to be our centre. We can layer these all up now. Tiny bit of glue. We just want to offset these two images to give us the kind of continuous petal distribution. And our centre. Going to line that up so that it's over the original Seaside spray centre. I'll leave that to one side for a second, and we're going to use the sprig punch, and I'm going to cut out 3 pieces of the terracotta tile cardstock with the sprig punch. and we're going to adhere those to the back of our daisy. But before we do that, I just want to give it a little bit of shape. I'm literally just gonna flip, holding the center, just flipping these petals up just to give it a bit more of a realistic shape. And then with the sprigs, I just want two towards the left hand side and one more towards the right hand side. Bit of glue on the back, and then we can line that up, and it's going to stick just to the right hand side of your linen thread there. For the sentiment, I'm going to use the Friend sentiment from the same stamp set, and onto a piece of Whisper White. This is 8 by 3.5, I think. Yeah, just a little bit over 8 by 3.5. And what I want to do is stamp towards the right hand side of my scrap of Whisper White, such that when we adhere this on, what we're going to do is slide that under and put our little bow here. So we still want to be able to see the sentiment, so it's going to need to be over to the right hand side here. Terracotta tile again. Now, if I were you, I would stamp and then cut out your rectangle, just to be sure that you're nice and square, but I'll do my best. Okay, not bad. And we'll pop our glue on here, like so. Slide that carefully under your thread and stick that in position, like so. And then we'll take another length of the linen thread for our bow. I generally struggle with bows, so let's see how I get on. There we go, not too bad. Snip off that little bit of length there, and there we have it. So here's the original. Okay, now what's really nice about this card is that you could replace this DSP with any other DSP, anything that you particularly like or want to use up even, maybe. And if you check on the back of your DSP package, it will tell you what colours are contained within the papers, and you can coordinate your daisies however you like. You know, blue is not a traditional daisy colour, and terracotta tile is not a particularly typical foliage colour, but I think with these images it doesn't matter. So if I just show you on the, we've used the woven threads, and if you flip over, you may have noticed it, you may not, but here on the back, woven threads, designer series paper, and it gives you a list of the colours that are contained. So Pretty Peacock, Purple Posy, Rococo Rose, Terracotta Tile, which is what we've used, Sahara Sand, Seaside Spray, again we've used, and Whisper White. It also tells you in the catalogue if you have a look at the entry for the DSPs, it will tell you the colours inside as well. I think that's about it. There is a blog post to go along with this card. I'll put the address, the link for that in the description. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please leave me a little thumbs up, a like, and please do consider subscribing to my channel so that you don't miss out on future inspiration. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you. Bye.